In this episode, I'd like to showcase a tweet from a female Twitter user who resides in London named @HAF_025. Her Twitter post reads, "You would actually make a life decision based on a dream interpretation based on someone else's feelings and actually pay them?" She further adds, "I'm in the wrong profession." Let's discuss her post, because her tweet implies that she may not agree with the idea of someone consulting and paying a dream analyst for an interpretation primarily based on the opinions, feelings, or perhaps the emotions of the dream interpreter rather than that of the dreamer's current emotional states or psychological positions. She further implies in her Twitter post that the dream analyst may be projecting his or her own personal feelings into the suggested results of the dream interpretation. I want to discuss this briefly because, unfortunately, this is oftentimes the case with many who claim to be professional dream analysts or may not have the proper academic and practical training in dream analysis, analytical psychology, or the human mind regarding associations and projections. In response to her post, I wrote back, "If the dream analyst is properly trained, he or she shouldn't construct the interpretation based on their own feelings." Furthermore, I replied, "It should be based on the dream analyst's professional experience in dream analysis combined with the dreamer's personal feelings and associations with the dream imagery." I want to further discuss this concept and why dream interpretation is absolutely possible and can be very accurate when the dream analyst is correctly trained and experienced in the best dream interpretation methods out there and also understands how to associate the dreamer's meanings and perspectives given to the imagery and elements that may arise in the dream. Many of you are already aware that there are lots of dream dictionaries available that may suggest that things such as animals, cars, and other dream objects have a specific or definitive meaning when they show up in our dreams. While many dream symbols do possess a valid base meaning across mankind and in related cultures and groups, the one thing a properly trained dream analyst never forgets is that even though a dream symbol holds a universal meaning across mankind, it's imperative that the dream analyst take into consideration the personal perspectives and associations a dreamer may have towards certain key dream symbols that appeared in the dream. For the properly trained dream analyst, their job is to carefully extract the dreamer's personal and emotional associations with the given imagery in their dreams. If you truly understand this process and are careful enough, you can essentially come up with the base idea of a dream's meaning while successfully steering clear of inserting any of your own emotions and psychological content into the interpretation, which of course, this particular Twitter person was suggesting that the interpreter, I guess, of this dream or her friend's dream was doing. This is because you're literally engaging the dreamer and inviting the dreamer to tell you specifically what they think about images in the dream and how they fit into the dreamer's world of consciousness and perspectives. So, regarding the Twitter post from our Twitter follower, I politely let her know that she is partly correct in her assumption when dealing with proclaimed dream interpreters that may lack the necessary education required for real-world dream interpretation in relation to analytical psychology and human emotions and the human mind or the psyche in general. Before we wrap this up, I want to give you an example of how this can actually be performed. Many of you have heard of the series Law & Order. If so, then you also know that Dick Wolf prides himself on constructing his fictitious stories from actual facts and, in many cases, real-world legal cases which actually happened. If you have access to Netflix or own the Law & Order series collection, if you find Season 2, Episode 15, at the 20-minute mark, there's a segment in the show involving an adolescent boy who is being detained for the murder of another young boy. The criminal psychiatrist in the show is tasked with concluding the boy's current psychological state to determine whether he's even capable of committing such a crime. In attempting to do this, she shows the boy a picture of another boy sitting down staring at a violin. She then asks him to tell her what he thinks about the picture and what he thinks the boy in the picture is thinking about himself. In his response, the psychiatrist discovers that everything the boy says about the picture directly relates to himself. In this sequence, the boy actually projects his own inner thoughts and consciousness onto the picture. This is also known as a projection in analytical psychology. What you must understand about the picture is that it has no actual meaning. It's only raw physical existence. This is also the case with dream symbols and things that typically will appear in people's dreams. Objects in our normal waking life and in our dreams actually have no static or predefined meaning. We give them meaning based on our own inner contents and thoughts derived from our perspectives or opinions or previous life experiences, past experiences that we've had in our life. And this is exactly what the young boy did in the Law & Order sequence. In doing this, the psychiatrist was successfully able to determine specific psychological issues that the boy was suffering from. Her findings suggested that he may have even been an abused child, and later in the show, she actually confirmed that he had an abusive father. This same method, which is used worldwide in psychotherapy, is also very useful for the properly trained dream analysts to interpret dreams with fairly good accuracy. If you're still skeptical about the validity or the methods used to properly interpret dreams, I would simply encourage you to research analytical psychology and maybe even the association method. Furthermore, go and check out the clip from Law & Order Season 2. It's around the 20-minute mark, and it's episode 15, and then you can actually see an idea of this method in action. So again, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes and lectures on other dream-related topics. Thank you.